Hi, this is Coralla Ficklin at CorallaFicklin.com, WelcomeNetwork.com, excuse me, Welcome.com, Pedience.com, and you can go to Pedience if you're interested in picking up any of the things that I've written about language. And if you're interested in downloading any of the cards or any of the other type of study aids like study guides or other things, you can go to istudyguides.com or istudyguides.com and istudycards.com. Sometimes I get those mixed up. And there are a lot more sites that we have, like minimumpair.com, idiomaticexpressions.com, idiomaticsynonyms.com. Okay, this is, once again, this is going to be from Spanish into English, and it's not like some of my other videos in which I take one word and then I see how that word is played out. This is one of the most daunting parts of any language. The little phrases that you use in language all the time, but you can't necessarily just go into a dictionary and find what that word or that phrase is, because you can't look it up, word for word. Sometimes you're lucky if you get the key word and you go into the dictionary, you'll find that word, and then you'll see a lot of phrases or expressions, and one of those phrases or expressions will be yours. We have about, I would say 1,000 of these kind of cards. The little phrases, now maybe 1 or 2 or 3 cards or 300 cards if I'm lucky. If you're lucky, will be some of these phrases that you will need. Let me give you an example. To say a la derecha or a la izquierda, these are little phrases. For example, if you say a la derecha or a la izquierda, in English it means on the right or on the left side. Now, once again, just in case it's the first time you've seen any of my videos, when I'm looking over here, I'm looking directly on either the card or the web page that you would get if you come into our website and either go to the website or you download the card. Now, these are cards. I'm looking directly at cards, and these are there must be about 1,000 of these cards that we created, and they're just little expressions that will help you become more fluent in the language. And if you live in the country, you eventually pick them up, but if you don't happen to live in the country, you won't. It's logical, right? Okay. Al lado de, and al, because I don't always pronounce it correctly, it's A-L. Al lado de, it means at the side of. Caer al, and al is A-L. Caer al, to fall into. And these aren't translated direct. You can see that there's not really a one-to-one correspondence as far as translations is concerned. It's how you say it in Spanish, and then how that same phrase, because they're not necessarily expressions, but how they're said in English. Mirarse al espejo, to look at oneself in the mirror. Echar al fuego, to throw into the fire. A los ojos de todos. And you notice in Spanish you don't say the personal adjective like your eyes, my eyes. You say that you use the article, the definite article. In everyone's eyes, or in the eyes of everyone. A los 30 años, at 30. Sentarse al sol, to sit in the sun. Like I said, these are just little expressions that I picked up that could be handy to someone or to some use. Come into the website and you can just download as many cards as you would like with these expressions. A Orillas de, orillas de, at the banks of, a la mesa, and I have in parentheses, ya está lista la comida, at the dinner, and in parentheses, at the table, and in parentheses, dinner's ready. Because that when we'll say dinner's ready, you know. Al margen, and al is A-L, al margen is in the margin, in the border, or in the edge of, or on the edge of, I should say. A las 11, 11 o'clock. Anoche, last night. For a long time I would always say at night, because I would translate meaning at. This is when I was living in the country. And but after a while, you know, you just get used to it. It's not anoche meaning at night. It means anoche meaning last night. A la noche, at nightfall. A la noche, at nightfall. A la mañana siguiente, the following morning. A los 40 años, at 40 years old. And have you noticed it's mostly because that's a very important preposition in English, in Spanish. But you can see that it's not always translated as either to or at in English. It has a myriad of translation, 1,000 different translation. A los pocos días, and I always pronounce that incorrectly, días. Within a few days. A docenas, by the dozen, by the dozens. A los 3 meses de mi llegada, a los 3 meses de mi llegada, 3 months after my arrival. A 60 millas por hora, a 60 millas por hora, at 60 miles an hour. A la semana, per week or a week. Okay, this is going to be a little bit long, and then I'll give you an example. Here we go. Tener a mucha honra. Reminds me of the telenovela. What is it? Rosa Salvaje. And in the song, she would say honra, and I could never pronounce it. So let me see if I can pronounce it correctly for you. Tener a mucha honra plus el infinitivo del verbo. Por ejemplo, tengo a mucha honra estar aquí. To be proud or to deem it an honor plus the infinitive of the verb. For example, I am proud to be here, or I deem it an honor to be here. Okay, so please excuse my sometimes my stumbling over certain portions of Spanish. As you well know, Spanish is not my native language. A tiempo, on time. A la tarde, in the afternoon. All these practically have I have expressions that have other prepositions like de, y para, y por, but these are going to all be with a. A 22 de junio, on June 22nd. That's my son's birthday, by the way. A petición de, at the request of. A pie, on foot. Okay, I have a little bit more time, just a touch. A los pies de alguien, a los pies de alguien, at the service of someone. And I'll give you one more. Al pie de fábrica, al pie de fábrica, at factory prices. Okay, so these are phrases, not necessarily, they don't come to the level of expressions, but phrases that you might find difficult to understand because they're not translated directly. Come into iStudyCards.com and you can download as many as you like. Coralificklin at coralificklin.com.